The war for your attention. There's a quiet war happening every morning you wake up, and most people don't even realize they're losing it. Not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because the modern world is engineered to pull their minds apart. Every vibration, every notification, every "just check for a second" isn't just a distraction. It's an invitation to give your life away in tiny pieces. Most people don't lose their focus. It gets stolen. Stolen by noise, stolen by speed, stolen by the constant demand to react. And the tragedy is this: a scattered mind becomes a scattered life. If your attention is divided, your character, your goals, your peace, everything becomes fragmented with it. Marcus Aurelius didn't live in a world of smartphones, but he understood this better than anyone. He wrote about the danger of a wandering mind, a mind that drifts without direction, a mind that gets pulled by every impulse, every emotion, every passing thought. He knew the truth we're only now remembering. You become what you consistently pay attention to. If your attention is consumed by chaos, your inner world becomes chaotic. If your attention is shaped by noise, your thoughts begin to sound like noise. If your attention is never held steady, you lose the ability to go deep in your work, in your relationships, in yourself. This video isn't about productivity hacks. It isn't about time management or discipline for the sake of discipline. It's about something much more fundamental: reclaiming ownership of your mind. Because a mind you can't control becomes a mind that controls you. The Stoics believed attention is not just a mental skill, it's a moral responsibility. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the thoughts you allow to shape it. So today, we go back to the roots. Back to the ancient practice that helped warriors, emperors, and philosophers stay calm in chaos and sharp in a noisy world. Welcome to Human OS. Let's talk about why most people can't focus and how Stoics mastered their attention. Why most people can't focus anymore. Most people think they have an attention problem, but the truth is much darker. They don't have a focus problem. They have an overstimulation problem. Their minds aren't weak. They're overloaded. We live in a world designed to hijack human attention. Not accidentally, intentionally. Every platform, every app, every notification is built on one idea. Keep your mind constantly occupied with something trivial, so it never has the energy to focus on something meaningful. The result? People aren't tired because they work too hard. They're tired because they never stop consuming. They start the day scrolling. They fill silence with noise. They escape boredom with stimulation, and then wonder why their thoughts feel heavy and unfocused. Your brain was never meant to switch tasks 1,000 times a day. It was meant to go deep, not scatter. To reflect, not react. To choose, not to be dragged. Marcus Aurelius warned about this centuries ago. He wrote that the mind becomes restless and confused when it is constantly pulled outward by unnecessary impressions. He described a wandering mind as a form of self-betrayal, a slow, quiet abandonment of your own potential. And look around. That's the world we live in today. People can't sit still. They can't be bored. They can't stay with one task long enough to enter the deep part of it. And then they mistake this overstimulated chaos for a lack of discipline. But here's the real truth. Your mind isn't failing you. It's drowning. Drowning in notifications, opinions, endless entertainment, and the constant pressure to keep reacting. When your mind is constantly overstimulated, focus becomes impossible because your brain is stuck in survival mode. It's trying to keep up instead of trying to go deep. The Stoics understood that attention is finite. Whatever steals your attention steals your strength. Whatever scatters your mind weakens your character. Whatever you allow in shapes you. And that's why most people today feel anxious, restless, unfocused, not because something is wrong with them, but because they've never learned how to protect their attention. The mind is like a room. If you never close the door, anyone and anything can walk in. But here's the good news. Once you learn how to guard your attention, your mind becomes clear again. You stop drowning. You rise. And that's where Stoicism begins. The Stoic concept of inner stillness. Most people imagine focus as intensity, effort, tension, narrowing your eyes, pushing harder. But the Stoics saw it differently. To them, real focus wasn't force. It was stillness, a calm, unshakable center inside you that nothing external could disturb. Inner stillness doesn't mean emptiness. It means clarity. It means that instead of your attention being yanked around by impulses, thoughts, emotions, and noise, your mind becomes a steady flame that doesn't flicker every time the wind blows. The Stoics believed that every person has this inner quiet available to them, but almost no one ever touches it because the mind is constantly in motion. Restless, hungry, half awake, always reacting, never observing. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind needs a retreat, not in the mountains, not by the sea, not in isolation, but within itself. A place you can return to at any moment, a place where the world stops pulling at you. But here's the truth most people don't realize. You cannot focus because your inner world is loud. Loud with fear, loud with desire, loud with comparison, loud with imagined scenarios, loud with everything except the thing you're trying to do. Inner stillness is the art of lowering that volume. The Stoics practiced this deliberately. They trained the mind to be quiet, the same way others train a muscle. Through awareness, through deliberate breathing, through stepping back from impulse, through challenging every thought that arrives screaming for attention. Seneca wrote that most of our suffering comes not from events, but from the chaos of our minds interpreting those events. And when the mind becomes chaotic, focus becomes impossible. How can you direct your attention when your thoughts scatter like birds at every sound? Stillness fixes this. Stillness anchors you. It teaches you to pause before reacting, to notice thoughts without obeying them, to let emotions rise and fall without being carried away by them, to return again and again to the present moment, the only place where focus actually exists. Inner stillness turns attention from a fragile state into a deliberate action. Without stillness, you are pulled by everything. With stillness, you choose what you give your mind to. But here's what makes it so powerful. Stillness is not passive. It is strength in its purest form. It is the ability to be unmoved by chaos, not because you avoid chaos, but because you no longer allow it to control you. The Stoics believed that a still mind is a free mind. A person who can keep their inner world calm, even for just a few seconds, becomes capable of deep work, deep thought, deep presence. And more importantly, they become capable of lasting focus. Not the temporary concentration that disappears the moment a notification appears, but the stable, resilient focus that comes from an unshakable inner core. Most people never experience this. They think they're unfocused because they lack discipline or willpower or motivation. But the truth is simpler. They have never learned to be still. Because once the mind is still, attention becomes effortless. And that is the Stoic secret. Focus is not something you chase. It is something that naturally appears when you quiet everything that drowns it out. Choosing what deserves your attention. Most people don't have a focus problem. They have a selection problem. They don't know what deserves their attention, so everything gets it. Every impulse, every notification, every random thought, every desire, every insecurity, every distraction that flashes bright enough to pull their eyes away. The Stoics understood something modern life hides from us. Attention is not limitless. It is a currency, a finite resource. And every time you spend it on something meaningless, you weaken your ability to invest it in something meaningful. The tragedy is that most people let the world choose for them. Algorithms choose. Trends choose. Other people's expectations choose. Whatever screams, the loudest chooses. So they wake up exhausted before they've even begun, because their mind has already been drained by dozens of tiny, irrelevant demands. Demands they never consciously accepted. The Stoics believed that a disciplined life begins with one simple question. Does this deserve my mind? Not, is this interesting? Is this urgent? Is this entertaining? But, is this worthy of the only life I have? Marcus Aurelius wrote repeatedly about the danger of scattering your soul, of letting your mind be pulled into 1,000 directions until nothing remains centered. He believed the mind becomes weak, not from lack of effort, but from lack of intention. When you fail to choose what deserves your attention becomes the property of whoever tries to capture it. And make no mistake, there is an entire world built to capture it. A digital economy powered entirely by stealing the one thing the Stoics spent their whole lives trying to protect, the direction of your mind. The Stoics would say this: if something does not make you wiser, calmer, stronger, clearer, then it is taking more than it gives. Think about that. How many things in your life give you nothing, yet still cost you your mind? The argument you replay in your head, the stranger's opinion online, the plan you keep postponing but never release, the comparison that poisons your self-worth, the gossip, the noise, the compulsive scrolling, the emotional clutter that fills every quiet moment. Most people are not overwhelmed by life. They are overwhelmed by what they allow into their life. Choosing what deserves your attention is an act of power. It is the moment you stop being prey to every stimulus around you, and you become sovereign over your inner world. But here's the hard part. To choose well, you must be brutally honest with yourself. You must admit that some things you give attention to simply because they distract you from your discomfort. Some because they feed your ego. Some because they are easy. Some because they require nothing from you. The Stoics would urge you to ask, does this help me become who I say I want to be? Does this align with my values, or does it pull me away from them? Does this nourish my mind, or fracture it? And if the answer is no, then the price of giving it your attention is too high. Epictetus said, you become what you give your thoughts to. Meaning, your attention is literally shaping you, moment by moment. Every time you choose something low, you lower yourself. Every time you choose something higher, you elevate yourself. Attention is destiny in slow motion. Learning to choose what deserves your attention is not about productivity. It is not about efficiency. It is not even about achievement. It is about reclaiming the authorship of your life. Because every day, you are writing your future, not with big decisions, but with tiny choices of where your mind goes. And most people are writing a life they never consciously intended, simply because they never learned to direct their attention with purpose. The Stoics believed that focus is a moral act, a way of honoring your potential, your time, your brief existence. When you choose what deserves your attention, you stop living reactively and start living deliberately. You stop chasing noise and start building meaning. You stop scattering your soul and start unifying it. And slowly, quietly, powerfully, your life begins to change because your mind finally belongs to you and not to everything that asks for it. Discipline over impulse. Most people think discipline is about forcing yourself into action. The Stoics saw it as something far deeper. Discipline is the art of choosing your future over your impulses. Because impulses are quick, they are loud, they are emotional, they promise relief, comfort, pleasure, escape, right now. But they have no loyalty to you, no memory, no sense of direction. They don't care who you're becoming. They only care about the shortest path to gratification. And if you don't understand their nature, you will mistake them for your own voice. You will think, "I feel it," means, "I must follow it." You will confuse desire with necessity and comfort with happiness. The Stoics warned again and again that the greatest enemy of a meaningful life is not suffering. It's the mind trained by impulses. A mind that wants ease over growth, pleasure over purpose, distraction over clarity, comfort over character. To the Stoics, discipline was not a punishment. It was a liberation, a way of freeing yourself from the tyranny of your knee-jerk reactions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Not enjoyable, not convenient, not soothing. Necessary." This one question slices through your impulses like a blade, because when something is necessary, it aligns you with your future. When something is impulsive, it pulls you away from it. The Stoics understood something modern psychology now confirms. Most impulses come from discomfort, not desire. You don't check your phone because you want to. You check it because your mind can't tolerate stillness. You don't procrastinate because you're lazy. You procrastinate because the task makes you confront your limits. You don't chase pleasure because it fulfills you. You chase it because it numbs you. The Stoics diagnosed the problem clearly. We obey impulses because we fear discomfort. And therefore, the one who can remain calm in discomfort becomes unstoppable. Discipline begins when you train yourself to stay present in the moments where you want to escape. Not to fight the impulse, not to suppress it, but simply to see it for what it is, a temporary wave. Every impulse rises and falls. Every craving peaks and fades. Every emotional urge loses strength when you observe it instead of serving it. This is the core of the Stoic method. Pause. Observe. Choose. The pause creates space between you and your impulse. The observation exposes its true nature. The choice redirects your life. Most people never reach that third step because they don't pause. They react immediately. They become extensions of their urges. And then they wonder why their life feels chaotic, scattered, inconsistent. A life without discipline is a life lived on autopilot. A life dictated by whatever you feel in the moment. A life where every impulse pulls you into a new direction until you're exhausted by decisions you never truly made. Discipline, to the Stoics, was the antidote. It was the ability to say, I feel this, but I won't let it decide for me. And when you start living this way, two things happen. First, the impulses weaken. When they stop ruling you, they lose power. When you stop obeying them, they stop defining you. Second, your confidence grows. Not the loud kind that depends on approval, but the deep, silent kind that comes from keeping promises to yourself. Discipline is self-respect in action. It is the ability to witness a desire rise in you and choose not to kneel before it. It is the decision to build something future you will thank you for, instead of something present you will regret. And the Stoics believed this so strongly because they saw discipline as the foundation of freedom. True freedom is not doing whatever you want. True freedom is not being owned by your impulses. A person ruled by their urges is not free. A person who can redirect their urges is unshakable. This is why the Stoics, again and again, returned to the same idea. Control yourself, and no one else will ever control you. When you master your impulses, you master your life. Because finally, after years of being pulled, pushed, and scattered, your choices begin to reflect who you are, rather than what you feel in the moment. Discipline is not a battle, it is a remembering of who you want to become. And every time you choose discipline over impulse, you close the gap between the person you are and the person you could be. Deep work. Stoic style. Most people talk about deep work as a productivity trick. To the Stoics, it was something far more serious. A discipline of the mind, a training of attention, a commitment to living with purpose instead of noise. Deep work isn't just about focusing longer. It's about learning how to exist without constantly escaping yourself. Because when you sit alone with a difficult task, a real, meaningful task, something uncomfortable happens. You meet your own mind without distractions. And most people can't handle that. They can't handle silence. They can't handle effort. They can't handle the slow, heavy climb of concentration. They can't handle the truth that mastery requires boredom, patience, and solitude. The Stoics embraced all of it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while writing one of the deepest books in human history, not because he had time, but because he had discipline. He wrote in the gaps between wars, meetings, and crises. He wrote at night, at dawn, in tents, on battlefields. That's what deep work looked like 2,000 years ago. Not a perfect morning routine, not aesthetic productivity setups, just a man with responsibility and chaos all around him, choosing clarity over noise, choosing stillness over distraction, choosing depth over comfort. And that choice is what separates the ordinary from the exceptional. Deep work, Stoic style, begins with this principle. You become what you repeatedly give your attention to. If your mind is constantly fragmented, you become fragmented. If your day is ruled by interruptions, your thoughts become interruptions. If you train your mind to chase stimulation, you lose the ability to create anything meaningful. Deep work is a rebellion against this decay, but it requires something most people avoid: discomfort. Not loud discomfort, not pain, not crisis, but the subtle discomfort of staying with a task long enough for it to challenge you. The discomfort of not checking your phone. The discomfort of staying in silence. The discomfort of resisting the urge to switch tasks the moment something gets difficult. The discomfort of going deep when your mind wants to stay shallow. The Stoics believed this discomfort was essential because mastery demands that you break your addiction to ease. And modern science proves this too. The brain rewires itself based on the difficulty of the tasks you repeatedly do. Shallow tasks build a shallow mind. Deep tasks build a powerful one. But the Stoics added something deeper. Your ability to focus is a moral choice, because lack of focus doesn't just affect your work, it affects your character. A distracted mind becomes reactive. A reactive mind becomes impulsive. An impulsive mind becomes weak. To the Stoics, focus was strength, not mental strength, moral strength. They believed a person who could control their attention could control their emotions, their reactions, their decisions, their quality of life. So what does Stoic deep work actually look like? It starts with environment, but not the physical one. The Stoics didn't care where you worked. They cared about the inner environment. Your mind is your workspace. Your attention is your tool. Your discipline is your boundary. Deep work means you set a task and you commit to it fully, not because you feel inspired, but because you said you would. In the Stoic worldview, inspiration is irrelevant. Consistency is everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do what is necessary, accept what is difficult, persist with what is meaningful." This is the formula for deep work. When you sit down to focus, something interesting happens. The first 10 minutes feel pointless. The mind resists. It wants escape. It wants stimulation. It tries to drag you away from the task. Most people listen to that voice. The Stoics observed it. Because that voice is not your true self. It's your untrained mind, begging for comfort. The moment you refuse to give in, the battle begins to shift. You sink into the task. Your mind starts to settle. Thoughts slow down. The noise quiets. And for a brief moment, you experience what the Stoics called inner alignment, a rare state where your attention, your intention, and your action move in the same direction. This is deep work, not glamorous, not effortless, not romantic, but real. And the more you experience it, the more you crave it, because nothing feels as clean, as grounding, as fulfilling as doing one thing with your whole mind. Deep work is not something you fit into your life. It's something you build your life around. It is a commitment to depth over distraction, substance over stimulation, purpose over pleasure, self-mastery over self-indulgence. The Stoics believed that a person who can focus deeply can handle anything: pain, chaos, pressure, change, fear. And they believed something even more powerful. When you train your mind for depth, you become impossible to shake. A focused mind cannot be manipulated. A focused mind cannot be overwhelmed. A focused mind cannot be scattered by external noise. Deep work shapes your identity. It trains you to stay with what matters. It strengthens the part of you that chooses and weakens the part of you that reacts. And slowly, without noticing it, you become the kind of person the Stoics admired. Calm in crisis, unmoved by distraction, grounded in purpose, committed to your path. This is the Stoic version of deep work, a practice that doesn't just increase your output, but transforms your character. It builds a mind that is clear, stable, resilient, and fully alive. And in a world addicted to noise, that is nothing short of a superpower. Becoming unshakable in a distracted world. When you look at the modern world, it's easy to believe that focus is impossible. The noise is everywhere. The distractions are engineered. The world pulls at your attention 1,000 times a day. But the Stoics would tell you this: the world has always been chaotic. What matters is who you choose to be inside it. Becoming unshakable doesn't mean escaping distraction. It means becoming the kind of person who is no longer owned by it. A person who can sit in silence without needing escape. A person who can choose their response instead of reacting automatically. A person who knows what matters and has the discipline to ignore what doesn't. That is the heart of Stoic focus. Not perfection, but direction. Not controlling the world, but controlling your inner world. Not eliminating distraction, but mastering your relationship with it. When you live with intention, your attention sharpens. When you train your mind, your impulses weaken. When you choose concentration over chaos, you start to experience what the Stoics valued most. A mind that is your ally, not your enemy. The goal isn't to become robotic or rigid. It's to become clear, present, grounded. Someone who can move through life without being pulled apart by noise. Because in a world where most people chase stimulation, the one who can stay focused becomes rare, and the rare become powerful. As you walk forward, remember this: your attention is your life. Where you place it is who you become. So choose wisely. Practice daily. Guard your mind as if it were a sacred space, because it is. And with time, discipline, and honest effort, you'll discover something extraordinary. You don't just learn to focus. You become the kind of person who cannot be shaken. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. It genuinely helps the channel grow and brings more people into this conversation.